Decided to just group Dandelion and Backup Dancer together because combined they have like 5 variants between them, which is less than half of the amount that Torchwood has. Also, based on current trends, I think Backup Dancer was gonna win the next poll anyway. Might as well get all the random spawnable slop classes out the way. Dandelion. Dandelions can hover in the air and have 100 health. Dandelion's role is a splash damage focused character with increased mobility. Yes, we went from pea shooter but shit to pea shooter but shit. 60 sounds good, but if you compare it to other low ammo characters like Low P or Super Commando, it doesn't really look good for old Dandelion here. But the primary weapon is only like 70% of what makes a character good. We still have the abilities. The Flash Bang Bomb launches a 65 damage grenade at zombies that briefly slow them down. Allergic Reaction. War Criminal bonus. And then Flight Show, which launches Dandelion in the air and she explodes like a firework, raining down sundrops onto the ground. So Dandelion is a 100 HP class whose hitbox is 80% critical damage that excels at closer ranges. Time Park. First wave is easy. The browncoats usually die when I throw blinding white light at them. We get to wave 2 and we see that aimbot enemies versus low health evasive characters makes my health rapidly deplete. Wave 3 throws a big bomb at me, which gets surprisingly close to the garden. Though, to be fair, they do spawn it right on our porch. When it dies, it just dissipates into the wind for some reason. Wave 5 spawns a Yeti, so it's automatically going to be bad. And it's the illusion brains that turns into a Torchwood. What fucking joy. Oh, and a hover goat too. Tell you what, Nomus needs to keep his fucking chest shut. Unsurprisingly, I lose. Hopefully next time it spawns less obnoxious elites and it's the exact same one again. At least Torchwood is gone, replaced by the swag. Yeah, it's over. Horrible start to this class. This character is less of a glass cannon and more of a glass extendable punching glove. Next variant is the Dandelion, who attacks with a sawed-off shotgun. Sounds pretty cool, right? Shotguns are always a nice thing to have. One small issue, this shotgun operates on Agent P logic, which means it deals double damage on a headshot. Unlike Agent P, who is an abysmally balanced monstrosity with a nicotine addiction, this thing does 35 damage on a body shot. If you do not hit a headshot with this character, you are doing the same damage as 1p, and that's it. All your ammo's gone, and on a headshot you deal 70 damage, which is nothing to scoff at obviously, but good luck getting every single bullet to land on the zombie's troglodyte tiny brain ass heads. Frosty Creek. And I've never noticed this little clock in area before, that's a cool detail. Also, this character is terrible. Browncoats have 300 health. That is 5 headshots from this worthless excuse of a weapon to even kill it. Even used a bloody hand grenade and it still takes ages to kill one of these things. Also, the sound cuts out. Ugh. Don't worry though, judging by how horrible this character is, we won't be in silence for very long. This thing's gonna be dead in a ditch by wave 5, body dumped in the frigid stream of Frosty Creek. Wave 2 and I shoot a pirate out of the air and it face plants the floor, which is the only enjoyment I've gotten out of this variant thus far. I then get stoned to death. Wave 5, and why is it when I'm playing as a character of the total damage output of a catatonic old woman, it spawns the tankiest boss in this game? Don't forget the elite super brains and the second elite super brains. Not gonna play it out, I just lose. Next time, however, 2 mediocre elite bosses spawn in, meaning now it's just a war of attrition. Elites just turn this entire game mode into an RNG fest. You either get Desecrator Brains, Destroyer of Galaxies that removes your spinal cord at half health, or Captain Infant Baby that deals 3 damage and applies a map-wide light breeze. Because even if the OG Dandelion was terrible, it was not as abysmal as the Siege shitgun, and this thing should most certainly not advance to a higher wave count than it. Further evidenced by the fact that on wave 6 a red laser tank spawns in and wipes out our entire team. This thing, they got done in by the most basic tier of spawnable bot you get 7 of in a Minions booster pack. an excellent thing of its kind. Really goes to show the quality of an average Dandelion. The final Dandelion variant is the Atomic Dandelion, also known as Pollinonium. It's smog time, yay! Oh my god, finally a Dandelion actually able to deal damage. A bit too much damage, perhaps? Yet again, the coin of viability has been flipped. Every character in this mod is either killing bosses in seconds or taking 5 ammo clips to kill a brown coat, less of a glass cannon and more of a glass nuclear warhead. Frontline flats, and I begin to summon toxic gloom shrooms to keep with the green smog theme. The only downside this character has is that it has to get pretty close to fire off the smoke, which sucks as it has 100 health. And wait a minute, this character is just Steam Blaster. You have 5 minutes without stealing something from BFN. At least this plagiarized weapon actually deals damage, unlike another suspiciously super brain shaped failure I know. Wave 3 and you can definitely make it up there, even though being up there would have genuinely no benefit for this character. But anyway, things are looking good for this irradiated little monster. Got ourselves a piss-tinted chomper with a mohawk, and Ted T. Tech shows up, a shining morsel in this empty trough of slop. Ted even gets one in on me and grows an explodey bot on my corpse, which is pretty fitting. You always had a neck for creativity. Ted then is corroded into nothing seconds later. Wave 5, and just look at how fast this poor Gargantua's health drains. This is the equivalent of being kneecapped by the Demon Core. After then killing 2 elites at the exact same time, champions appear, which usually would cause me to have an aneurysm, but the champions just take like 2 seconds longer to die anyway, so it's not that big a deal. Wave 9, and the game really does not want Dandelion to get any victory at all, but it doesn't matter because again, this Dandelion is too strong. Wave 10, and it's the Old Man, which means all the disguised enemies spawn in, kill all of my allies, and then kill me. Well, sorry Dandelion, you are officially the first class to not get a single win. It sucks because if it was literally any other boss, Dandelion would have won so easily. Again, this game mode is just a twisted version of gambling. So yeah, that's all the Dandelions. Would have been a really underwhelming video if it ended there, wouldn't it? But can this new zombie class perform any better than the Dandelion? The Backup Dancer has 100 health. After being chased by a green gem, Backup Dancer starts hurling twirls at the plants, which is another burst weapon. Great, it's great. Backup Dancer can throw bisexual orbs at people. The Boogie Bubble disables all abilities of any enemies inside of it, removes any negative status buffs from itself or allies, and even heals you a little bit. An all-round useful little device for this Backup Dancer to have. You also get the Kickball Charge, which does 2 dashes, the second launching you in the air. Another decent little ability. Then you get Striker Pose, which heals Backup Dancer and gives itself and allies a 15% damage buff. So it's basically Hovergoat's shitty little upvote bean, but it affects the whole team. Basically, the Backup Dancer is a support class, which is actually a well-fitting role for a character with the word backup in its name to have. So well done. You finally made something that makes cohesive and thematic sense. Frosty Creek again, and egads, it's Snowy Joey, who gets killed by a combination of Backup Dancers and DJ Uplinks. No knockouts on Wave 3. Not Nightcap spawns in on Wave 4, and I like how this Rose's invisibility is so useless that even the DJ Uplinks ain't fooled by it. Wave 5 spawns the Big Stump, Super Bean, and even when we don't get Giga Torchwood in the boss slots, one still manages to worm its way in here like a parasite. At least the dash ability demolishes Super Bean's shield.
You could say its armor is improvised.
Where we discover that the bisexual bubble just completely protects you from Gotify. There's a lot of bisexual coded visual effects in this mod, aren't there? I should have mentioned sexual orientations and bloody summoned him. However, we make it to Wave 10, already proven to be better than 2/3 of the Dandelions. The boss is...
So the Torchwood character Torchwood deals a mask for the plants team. It used to be Citrus, that has now been replaced by the Torchwood. The reason for this...
You can't let me have anything, can you? What's that? Purple zombie experiencing the slightest bit of hope? Can't have that. Let me fix that by throwing a burning forest at you.
My fellow
YouTube viewers.
I think we all know where this is going, so let's just skip to the end.
Again, robbed at the last second by the genuine worst possible boss I could have gotten. Next variant is the old man. Are you honestly expecting me to fight off hordes of elites, champions and torchwoods with someone who's a single trip on the pavement away from beating God? What is wrong with his tie? The old man's gimmick is firing splodges of ink at plants. Why? This removes all light from them and makes them resemble demonic shadow creatures you'd find in the bargain bin of Plants vs. Zombies creepypastas. The ink just acts identically to the motocross star's mud, much like the motocross star the old man does horrendous amounts of damage. Can I just give him the big red X? Going near that blimp just seems like a sunk cost fallacy. Zen Peak and the old man ignores the enchanted garden. I guess Zombos has a good private pension scheme. The old man starts prattling about on rooftops firing ink at people who gets near his property. Wave 3 and I fail to retrieve the pop smarts. Can't be sending an 85-year-old man out to do your groceries, Zombos. This ink effect looks so goofy. Close quarters, and I like how hitting a red weed with the ink makes them lose their redness. Spruce Bruce reappears and I quickly flee to the rooftops like a seagull trying to scope out a sausage roll. Wave 8 and just a big stump this time, so Society Squasher. So for Squash Elites we have Giant Red Evil Squash, Heat Death of the Universe, and Society Squasher. Don't think we've encountered the spooky Squash Elite yet, but knowing this mod, it probably just makes you do the entire boss hunt when it reaches half health. Edgar my Guardians. Guess what the Guardian is, by the way. Anyway, we win with only a few minor casualties. And when the Giga Torchwood has the ink buff, it looks like a fucking dark fountain. Anyway, Wave 7 and Monster Party really sending out cryptids after a group of pensioners. I don't think I've mentioned it before, but this wave is abysmal. The Count Chompulas just devour all your teammates. These vampire citrons just laser you down and throw peaches at you. And whatever elite shows up, that being the Skinwalker Rose, just finishes off whatever survives that, so we lose. The next time goes the exact same fucking way, and he was just 2 days away from retirement. Next variant is the Gothic Dancer, completely unmotivated to even try. Sounds like the tagline of the anti-cheat update. The Gothic Dancer does this. That's right, we got the homing backup dancer. Homing projectiles. I love slow-moving, unavoidable projectiles. Not only homing, but homing and health regeneration. Luckily, this is balanced out by the fact that it takes like 5 minutes for the projectiles to even reach the target. Also, it has 75 health. We go to Sandy Sands, and good god, this thing takes so long to take out the weeds. There is a solid 1 second delay before any of your projectiles even connect. They just dawdle around in the air doing nothing before remembering they're supposed to deal damage and just zoom at the plants. Wave 4 and the audio is already gone. But it's your fault, isn't it? Concrete column looking prick. Looks like the things that stop cars from going down country lanes. But yeah, an unspecified but lengthy amount of time later, and we're fighting a Torchwood and Entropy itself. Not a good combination, is it?
Apparently, due to a coding mishap, Giga Torchwood has an 80% chance to show up on every boss wave. Someone at PopCap needs to be shot!
However, the Gothic Dancer has like 3 forms of self-healing. This character is basically just Cupid Flower if it listened to Linkin Park. Wave 7 spawns more high health armor variants. Why does it die like that? Even in death, the Gothic Dancer is indifferent. After slowly chipping away at this rose for 5 minutes, we move on to wave 8, which means it's Torchwood time. However, they aren't much hassle because again, self-healing is very overpowered in this mode. Nothing interesting happens on wave 9 and we make it to the boss wave. Wait, Sunflower Queen? Maybe we can finally get the first win of this episode on the sick fucking round. I mean, the tomb's looking a bit injured, but the most threatening thing in this entire boss fight is the sands of time eroding away my body as I slowly drain the health of a 12,000 HP member of royalty with a Hot Topic employee in complete silence. After another 10 minutes, we actually managed to get a single victory.
Sure?
Only question is, can Gothic Dancer make it to the blimp? Well, one of them can. Oh well, better than none. At least this breaks our long losing streak.
By the way, this match took like 40 minutes! 40 minutes!
The final variant is the martial artist. Noticing the theme with these backup dancer variants just being the side goons to a boss. Or just old. Anyway, the martial artist flings itself forward uncontrollably and spin jitsus all over the weeds, which is actually quite fun. Too bad it's another melee character of 100 health. It's kind of hard to tell how much damage it does in one cycle because it just floods the screen with the number 8. There's no way it hits 25 times. I just looked in the files and it hits 96 damage in total. Maybe this won't be so bad after all. This character sounds like the most obnoxious thing to fight if it was an actual character in multiplayer. We go to... you! It's been a while, hasn't it? Again putting me on the map with instant death pits everywhere whilst I am playing as a character that uncontrollably flings itself around like a ragdoll. At the end of wave 1, a teleporter mysteriously materializes itself out of nothing. That was one of the most idiotic things I think I have ever done. Also, it appears that yet again the AI are incapable of using the weapon correctly, as a martial artist just stands there all jolly whilst it's being violently attacked by a gang of weeds. Reviving characters with this guy is funny because you can just leave. Wave 4 spawns some kind of improvised armor and... this is starting to look very familiar. Is what I would say if I wasn't cracked at the game. About as cracked as a freshly purchased Tupperware tub. Wave 5 and dank flower spawns who... oh god, it's the bloody toxic puddle one. I'm done for. A combination of Torchwood, this rose, and the puddle kills all 4 martial artists, proving that the art of spin jitsu is no match for corrosive chemicals. Next time all that shows up is just a bum-ass cupid flower. Old 4 wait a minute. Don't you start healing that fucking Torchwood. Who the hell is Moments? Some garish green citron rolls up and starts firing blue orbs at me. What did I do? And we lose. What a surprise. You can deal as much damage as you want as a melee character, but if you die to having a pillow thrown at you, then what's even the point? Anyway, out of 3 dandelions and 4 backup dancers, only 1 character got a victory. 1 out of 7. Thus ends the double dosage of dandelions and dancers, which actually ended up being the septuple special of stinking shite. At least now all of these weird NPC character classes are done, and we can finally get back to the actual good characters. And Rose. Remember to like and subscribe, or the old man won't include you in his will.